Alright, just a quick follow-up to our free pick we sent out last night, XL. This is what the chart looked like when I sent it out last night. Remember, we had catalyst prices of 23.51, a break of Friday's high, and then hopefully through 23.68, which was the high from, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now, if I add in today's candle, you can see it gapped above. Okay, remember 23.51. Well, it opened. Where's the opening price? There it is. Well, it opened at 23.49. But triggered in the first 5 minutes any way you slice it. Yeah, it opened slightly below Friday's high. But anything that triggers, as we said in the video last night, triggers in the first 5 minutes, we'll leave it alone and then see if it gives a secondary setup. Now, here's the odd part. Had I called this for our room, I always talk about we're going to send out a follow-up video to show you how we traded it or what our thinking was. Well, had I called this for a room, I would have called it on it. As long as it stays in a narrow range. If something hits one of our trigger prices in the first 5 minutes, but then puts in a fairly narrow range for the first 5 minutes, which this did, it was 49 and 60, so an 11-cent range for the first 5 minutes, I would have called a break of the 5-minute high, especially since we had a secondary catalyst, if you remember, of 23.69. It hit the first catalyst in the first 5 minutes, put in a fairly narrow range, but we still had a potential to hit 23.69. If it broke the 5-minute high. Okay, 23.69 is right about here. So I would have called it a 23.61. Worst case stop 23, whatever that is. Let me get the lines off of there. Worst case stop 23.48. So it would have been what, 12 cents risk, 13 cents risk. And it did hit that second catalyst after that, and I ended up making it to 23.89. So if you took it at the original price, which again was too early of a trade for me, or a break of the 5-minute high, you still had an okay trade. Now, having said all that, you're probably wondering why I said I would have called it. I simply missed it. I was sidetracked. We had other things we were watching, and so XL is just one of those that snuck away from me. Now, I don't know if if I have members in the chat room that took it or not. There's a bunch of people in there, so somebody may have got it, but I did not get a chance to make that an official announcement in chat today at either one of the trigger prices. So having said that, I will share MAS with you. This was on our watch list anyway. This is another example of one kind of like XL. We had MAS on watch with a 1407 catalyst, a break of Friday's high with a potential secondary catalyst of 1424, a break of last week's high. Okay, here's how it looked. And you see it also gapped above or triggered in the first 5 minutes, our first catalyst. But what it did that I really liked, and this is why my attention was on this one, it kind of based right below the early high, 14.15, sold off a bit, but then right back up. So I called it at 14.16. I think I said worst case stop 14.04. And there you have it. I mean, within 5 minutes from 14.16, you're up about a dime. As always, we teach members to sell pretty quickly, some, and then go to a can't lose trade, a break even stop on the rest. And you can see it made it all the way to, 14.57. So it was just scaling out all the way up and making sure you don't let this turn into a losing trade. My goal on every trade I take, and I preach it over and over in our chat room, is to make every trade I take a can't lose trade. And simply put, that just means if I take something, here's my trigger, and within 5 minutes I get a pop, I just don't even think about it. I sell some. Now I've paid my commissions, put a little money in my pocket, and I know it's a can't lose trade. And sometimes it happens within a minute or two, right? Enter here, sell some, quickly my commissions are paid, and it's like buying a ticket almost, like a lottery ticket for the rest of it to hopefully do something like this, and then I can sell that into it. But if it does, if it does pop and then immediately roll over, I still have lunch money, right? I put some money in my pocket, I've covered my commissions, and I break out I stop out, break even on the rest. So every trade for me, my first goal is to be a can't lose trade. So it's pretty rare I'll take an entry and then place my stop and look for something else. I'm hoping to get that quick pop so I can pay myself on some and then get to a break even stop. There's no better feeling for me than a can't lose trade when dealing with the market. Nothing else really to brag about. I called Coinstar, CSTR, huge gap down on Friday. These are 5-minute candles. And a nice pop early today and a long base. Normally I don't call high of day breaks, but after this kind of action on Friday, Coinstar, if it broke its early high, had a good chance of moving. In the market, in the time that it triggered after that, the market got pretty weak. and Coinstar held up pretty well. So the call was 40.05 right here. Worst case stop, I think I said 39.75, but really it would have been below this 5 minute. I'll zoom in here. Below this 5 minute candle that triggered. That's how I trade. I usually put out a worst case stop, below the base. But once I get a trigger here, which was right here, my worst case stop will go right below that 5 minute candle that triggered it. Okay, so it was even a much tighter stop. And from 40.04, it did eventually close pretty strong too. It did eventually make it to 40.48. I sold into this first pop, and then sold the rest into that second pop, but it never came back. It made me worry about losing money. And we had some other small stuff too. Nothing great. A couple using our new failed fade idea. I'm not going to go into that here, but matter of fact, I'll just quit babbling. Probably send out another free pick next week. While I have the video going, this SPWRA is probably worth watching in the near future. This isn't a call or anything, but over 15 it's had trouble, and now it's finally getting nicely over 15. So keep your eyes on that one. But I don't have a call on it or anything. I'm gonna stop babbling, and we'll send out a free pick next week, and we'll also send out a video tomorrow night highlighting what we do in the chat room tomorrow. So until then, have a great night.